Right, so today I'm going to make Welsh cake. So Welsh cake is a traditional dish used eaten in Wales, and it's usually cooked on a griddle. But if you haven't got a griddle, I'm going to use a roti pan. These are brilliant for making Welsh cakes. Or you can use your frying pan, but on a really low heat. Otherwise what happens is it goes all doughy in the middle. So what you do is you put 8 ounces of flour into a bowl with 5 ounces of butter, margarine, and you flake it. You make it into a flake. So you crumb it. So you make it into a crumb. Yes, Lydia. Just like to say thank you to a friend of mine as well, an acquaintance that I met on Facebook, that's been really encouraging me lately to kind of keep going, because I've had a couple of bad days again. But yeah, Griff, is it? Sorry, I've forgotten your name. But flashbacking half the time I chat to you. But yeah, I'd like to say thank you. I think he's my #1 fan. Talk sense and stuff. So we're going to crumb this up. So this takes time. So I can pause the video, but it's not going to take much longer. So I just want to see how you do it. So it's just got to resemble sort of like breadcrumbs, because this is what causes the Welsh cake to have that kind of fluffy kind of cakey bit in the middle. So the more you kind of make it into a crumb, is the finer and kind of drier it could be. So it depends, because what you don't want is big clumps. So then you just add the sugar, right? Just sort of crumb it in as well. So this is like, it looks like a crumble. So you kind of want it that crumble consistency. And then you add 3 ounces of sultanas, because I love sultanas in a Welsh cake. One of my friends doesn't. He's been eating my Welsh cake for years, and then recently he said to me, can you make them without sultanas? So I was like, oh, I thought you liked them. And he goes, not really. So I thought, well, how have you been eating the Welsh cake all these years? And he's like, I've just been picking them out. So I thought, well, you should have told me ages ago, because I could have made them without sultanas. So yeah, so you can make this anyway. You can even put chocolate chips in them. Welsh cake with chocolate chips. You know, I've seen coconut Welsh cakes. So the cake is quite diverse. So this is the kind of crumb you're looking at. All right? And then I'm going to add the egg. So I'm just going to have to wash my hands first, because I can't stand having dirty hands. I've got a bit of OCD. So this is what I mean about mental health. You just got to do things when it captures you, isn't it? But I've got one thing about hands. I can't stand that. I've got to go wash them first before I even go on. So I'm going to pause the video and I'll get back to you. Right, so I've just washed my hands. And so what we're going to do now is we're just going to pour an egg in there. Sort of like just a whole egg. I'm quite a lazy cook, but the stuff comes out okay. Now, normally you can use mixed spice or nutmeg. I normally use nutmeg, but I can't find my nutmeg grater. So I'm going to have to just use a bit of cinnamon. And I like cinnamon as well. Cinnamon's really nice, right, when you're when it's mixed with that sugar in it. So these might have a bit of that kind of cinnamon swirl kind of cake. So I'm just going to put a little bit more. So it's just a sprinkle, but you want enough that you can taste it. So then you kind of got to make it into a dough. Okay, so I'm going to have to stop you here, because I'm going to have to get 2 hands here, and then I'll show you what the dough is. So what you do, you just manipulate it all now and try and get it into sort of like a dough, because then you're going to cut it. So I'll just pause it. Right, so we have the dough here, if you can see it, right? So it's just a dough, and then what you do, I normally have a spoon with flour beside, so you can just spoon so it doesn't stick to the chopping board. So I've got a marble chopping board that I use, and it kind of, I like marble because it kind of stops the stick when you're cooking and baking. So I've already now heated up the roti pan. So this is my mini roll. So I've already heated up the frying pan, the roti pan, and it's on 3. So you want to cook this on a low grade heat. So you kind of roll this out now to say 1 centimetre batches, okay, Lydia, because you don't want this to rise, Lydia. So you want this to stay the same. So I'm just rolling it out to like a 1 centimetre thickness. And my dough's a little bit wet because I use this same mix for rock cake. So if you want to make a rock cake with this mix, while it's all kind of mashy, you don't even need to use your hands. That's why I like rock cake. You just mix it all up with a spoon so it's all gooey and clumpy, and you just stick little spoons into Yorkshire pudding trays, stick them in your oven, and this same recipe mix for the Welsh cake will make you your rock cakes. Okay, so now I'm just going to separate them with the cutter. So as you can see, and I'm going to put it onto the roti pan, which I will show you. So you just shape your little cutters, right? Got the cutter, and then put them neatly onto the thing. So this is really a very simple dish. I know when you got mental health, it's difficult, isn't it? It's like you don't feel like doing anything. But like I said, when you're on a good day, you just make a batch, right? And you can make about 12 of these. And you know what? If you have a bad day the next day, you got your Welsh cakes to eat, haven't you? And there's nothing better than having a little munch on a Welsh cake with a cup of tea while you're drowning your sorrows and having to think about your day, So you just carry on the cutting. So I've got these now. So you just cut and cut until the pastry's gone, basically. Right, so you just re-roll. So I don't know if you can see, it's a bit difficult, isn't it? I should be a bit further out. So you just gather up the pastry. Right, so you kind of get it in the flour so it doesn't stick. So I'm kind of like bringing up the flour from the chopping board. And you kind of just roll it out again. Process starts again, 1 centimetre thick till all the pastry's gone. Needs a bit more flour because it's sticking to the... So you just sprinkle it on. Like I said, I'm not a perfect cook. Look at the way my scones come out the other day. But they were still nice. Do you know what I mean? So it's doing those small things that changes your mindset. And I know all the bloody strategies to get myself well, but sometimes it's hard to apply them. And so that's like for everybody, isn't it? So it's about changing your mindset and accepting the relapses that you might have. So like I said, if I do relapse tomorrow, I've got my goddamn Welsh cakes, haven't I? So I won't starve. So, there you go. And you just continue. So at the moment, the roti pan is full. So I'm going to show you. Hang on, I can touch my phone. Have a look at this. So this is what you're doing. So these are now beginning to cook. Do not try to turn them over until you can feel them lifting off the pan. Otherwise you'll break them up. They've got to cook on one side first. So this is very much a recipe where you've got to watch it cooking. What I tend to do as well is sprinkle a bit of sugar on top of the Welsh cake as they're cooking. So I'll show you what I've done here. So I'll just sprinkle a bit of sugar on, because then what happens is it gives it that caramelised taste on top, like a little bit of crunch on top of the Welsh cake as you're eating it with your tea. So it's really nice. So I'm just starting to turn them over. So that's the kind of colour you're looking at each side. And then you just, when they're finished, sprinkle them with the sugar. So, yeah, they're coming along good. So you've got to make sure that they're cooked underneath. You'll feel it lifting off the pan. So if you use a non-stick pan, you don't even need to butter the pan, because the butter from the mix will loosen it up from the pan. That came out pretty good actually, and they're so tasty. I didn't sprinkle mine with sugar in the end because I'm trying to reduce because I'm not as active, I'm trying to reduce my sugar intake. So you don't have to sprinkle them with sugar, but if you like that sort of thing, you can. And oh my god, with a nice tea, look at this, it's nice and warm. And look, see the crumb? That's how it's got to be. That's why it's important to like crumb that shit up before you put it into a dough, because then how you crumb it will come out in the cake. Oh my god, this is so nice. I can live on these. It's an easy dish to do and so nice. I can have that with a cup of tea, cup of coffee. And if you're struggling with your mental health, batch cook them, and you can put them in a airtight container. I'll just put them into one of my lock and locks now, and they will last a few days, a good 4 to 5 days. So in fact, even if they get a bit dry, you've got your cup of tea. So they're really nice. So just batch cook them, and they're easy to do. So tomorrow I might do lemon cake. Just got to go and get some baking powder. So if I don't, but I will. Got lemon cake and carrot cake on the card. So enjoy your Welsh cake.